Hey, what's up, guys? Doug here with Kodiak Guns. Um, Coming to you today. I'm wanting to do a video on another home defense one. This one isn't so much geared on to like what should your tactics be. This one is more what firearms should you use. And really, it's I say that again. Disclaimer: all one man's opinion. Also, disclaimer: YouTube. Everything that I'm going to show today is clear. Okay, we're doing the stupid things. Anyways, I'll get to the other ones later. Please like and subscribe, share the channel. Let's get this thing taken off. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch. There's a link in the channel description because we're not monetized yet. So go to the channel description area, hit the link. It's clickable, and go in there, buy a hat, buy a t-shirt. It'd be great. So, all right, let's get into it. We have typically three options, right? You have shotgun, rifle, or pistol, right? Like that's what we're going with for home defense. Which one are you going to choose, right? So I kind of want to do pros and cons on each platform, right? This is not going to be an all-encompassing list because I am not all-knowing when it comes to the firearm industry and or world, clearly. So this is my take on it. Again, one man's opinion on the internet. Take it for what it's worth. I have a little bit of experience in these matters from the military, but that by no means makes me the end all be all. So, having all appropriate disclaimer things out. Shotgun. Wonderful. Wonderful thing. There is a bit of a misnomer, I believe, out there of that being the best thing ever, and it's going to scare off anybody who comes into your house. The potential is there to scare people off, but we also live in a different world than we lived in 20, 30, 40 years ago. And something that we have to take into consideration is the fact that most of the people who are coming into our homes at 2 o'clock in the morning to take stuff have a very high likelihood of being, how do we put this, YouTube on something of a nefarious nature, making them not in their right mind. And so they are very unlikely to rationally understand that, right? That's just fact of the matter. So the old rack and run is not going to happen, right? You're not going to just rack the shotgun and make everybody who comes into your home leave. So what are some cons of this? Well, they're heavy. Okay, this is an 18-inch barreled shotgun. Yes, it's snow camoed out. Okay, because snow camo is cool. Fight me on that. I used to live in Alaska. Okay, so snow camo made sense there because it snows a lot. However, going into it, right? So they're heavy. So I got to wield this thing. And if I don't know how to operate this, and before someone says, oh, no, it's super easy. Well, okay. It's real super easy to short stroke and get a jam, right? You have to constantly feed them. This thing only holds six in the tube unless you're using Federal Shorties. And then Federal Shorties, hey, shout out to them. Whether you're running 1 ounce slugs in those things or number 4 buck, which I'd go with the number 4 buck if I was going to run shorties, you definitely expand your ammo capacity. And I mean, hopefully you're not going to need to reload at that point. But shotguns, a standard saying for shotguns is you got to be feeding the baby. You're always feeding the baby, right? You boom, boom, boom. You're loading, right? So if you're going to be like that and try to run and gun this, and shaking the camera here, in that CQB mindset, you're very likely going to have to run extra ammo. So you got to have a sidecar. So that's something else you have to grab. In 2 a.m, somebody kicked in your door. I got to grab my shotgun, put on a sidecar with extra ammo or have something over here with extra ammo, something like that, right? In order to do your reloads, because you don't want to go with I'm going to stop the threat in 2 rounds. It's a shotgun, so very likely if you hit your target with your first round, yeah, done, right? Most likely inside in home ranges, one shot. If you put it in center mass, you win. But if you don't, first off, you just blew a giant hole in your wall. Now you got to fix it. That sucks, right? Not that sheetrock is your number one concern at that point, but it will be, because after all this goes away, right? After the whole home defense and the lawyers and everything else and all that stuff that you're gonna have to deal with, you're gonna, if you can't do it yourself, you're gonna have to pay somebody to come in and fix your house. So, I mean, that's food for thought. But that being said, I know how to fix that stuff, so that's less of a thought for me. But it's still annoying when I have to go and fix, a hole in my wall because I missed with my shotgun, right? But they recoil, right? This thing kicks like a mule. So if I'm going to run this, I'm going to run Federal Shorties or I'm going to run low recoil, probably Single-Aught to number $4, somewhere in that range, just because of extra pellets and inside of home distances. Those are plenty lethal rounds. These are a little harder to fit with. Obviously, this one doesn't even have it, right? With dots and lights. Because dots and lights are nice. I prefer a dot and a light if I'm going to do this for home defense, right? Because my electricity's up. Yes, you can turn on the light, right? But having something on your weapon is fantastic, right? So, pro of a shotgun, devastating if you hit them, right? They are, if you know how to run it, fairly easy. But cons, they're heavy, low ammo capacity, and if you miss, you blow holes in walls, through walls. They overpenetrate. Just, yeah. If overpenetration is a concern, don't run this. Okay, just saying. All right, there's Shotty. Next on the list, Old Faithful, America's Rifle. All right, I got my 10.5-inch pistol AR. Okay, got a weapons light, got a red dot. This is clearly not for CQB, right? This part right here, if you're going to have this set up for CQB, I have this set up more for running both, right? But for being able to flip that up and shoot out to distance. If you're running this for CQB, for home defense, you don't need this. That's a magnifier to help you shoot at distance. The distances in this average American home, if you got a big house, right, are like 40 feet. 40 feet inside a home is a long shot. Most rooms are 16 to 20. Right? Bedrooms are less than that. Outside of a weird angle, you're not shooting, 150 yards inside your home. I mean, unless you got a lot of money. A lot of money in a very big house. But anyways, I digress. So, right, does have a light on it. Has a red dot. Not magnified, right? LVPOs and scopes, magnifiers, keep that thing flipped down, right? Be able to run this thing so you can clear your home. I like to run shorties in the house because they're easier to move, okay? And I got a sling, so if I need to drop this thing to use my hands, I can, right? So it's your AR setup. With that being said, I don't know if we showed YouTube this or not. This is clear YouTube. There's nothing in here. Okay. With that being said, so what is your your pros and cons with this, right? Vegas Pro, this is by far the most accurate option of any of them. They're light, they're easy to run. Anybody can run this, right? It is far easier for smaller people to run this over this. This thing kicks like a mule. This thing does not, right? If overpenetration again is a worry, they had make varmint loads for this. Now, is the varmint round the best round out there? No, but as I covered in other videos, having ammo and more of it is a good thing. So if I have this with standard capacity magazines, or more than standard capacity magazines in freedom loving states, again, I'm going to stand at the top of my stairs and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go bang, 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 bang. Oh, reload, bang, 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 right? That's too easy. If I'm doing that, like nobody's coming up the stairs. I don't care if it's short, long, whatever. Like that's you're winning at that point. Very likely you win that gunfight because you have the strong point. You know the area. They got to come up to you. Yeah, nobody wants any part of that. Right. So pros of an AR, cons of an AR. They can be. They're very loud. Right. So especially a shorter AR if you don't have a can on it. Bing, right. And inside your house, even in the middle of all the adrenaline, you might not hear it right away, but your ears will be ringing afterwards, right? I'm not saying that should be your biggest concern at the time, but just understand that is a thing. ARs are loud, especially shorter ones inside your house. They're loud, right? They have the potential, if you miss, to overpenetrate quite a bit. But due to accuracy and most people's ability to be accurate with them at short distances, overpenetration is actually less with a rifle statistically, simply because your odds of hitting go up astronomically. And again, you can use different rounds. Or if you're using, 55 grain varmint rounds, and you're just launching a bunch of those at the target, then, yeah, you're not gonna overpenetration is definitely less of a concern with that. One thing, con for ARs that they can be is velocity dependent, right? So some rounds won't do what they're supposed to do in shorter ARs, but again, this is where I am a big advocate for. I don't think that guy's going to care. Now, the round's not doing as it's supposed to do, but even somebody who's drugged out of their mind, I should take that back. Somebody who's completely drugged out of their mind might still come up the stairs after you. But at that point, if they're coming up the stairs, you have a lot of rounds to still deal with that threat. Very likely you're going to put it down. Okay? But if all these are concerns of yours, they make ammo specific for shorter barreled ARs, right? They have Hornady Black, Interlock HD, I believe, is one specifically made for SBR, right? It will do the job. It does the job well. Okay, so good ammo is expensive. That's another con for ARs, right? Good ammo is expensive. And you need to use, in any of the platforms that you are doing, you need to use the ammo you're going to use for defense on the range and put a lot through it so you know that it's reliable. Like I always buy several boxes of my carry ammo, whatever that, and I typically do most of my self-defense things with pistol, right? Be it carry, be it home defense, even though I have all these other things, right? My defensive uses typically are going to come, even in my house, with a pistol. That's just me. That's what I'm choosing. Spoiler alert. So I run that through at the range often. If I'm changing up guns, every platform that I've chosen to be a carry gun and or defensive gun, I run defensive rounds through it. A lot of them to make sure it works. Another potential con, not a potential con, it is a con of an AR is the offset, right? You have a mechanical offset. I'm shaking my camera here. This is quite a bit higher than this. Most of the time out at distance, that's not a problem, right? You don't notice that. Inside 7 yards, that becomes a problem, right? If I don't know what this is, and I'm in a situation where I have to shoot, and I don't want to hit something in front of the thing I have to shoot at, 1.5 inches, 2 inches makes a difference. Could be 4 inches if you're running something super tall, right? Like those are considerations, right? I won't necessarily say it's a pro or a con. It's a consideration. Those are just things you have to know. That is one of the reasons that I run pistols, right? So here we go, 45, because it'll make a 46. This used to be my home defense gun. I had a dot on it. I will get another dot on this thing eventually. And I actually want to get this, side note, converted into a 460 Roland for bear protection for when I go to places where bears are. Anyways, I like to run pistols. And the reason why, I'm not because they're more accurate, but I am very accurate with them. They are very easy to manipulate. They're very easy to grab and store for home defense situation. And they're incredibly reliable. They're easy to reload. And I have everything I need, right, in a home defense setup right there. And then I can turn around and I can take this very gun. So like I'm a big fan of, if you're only going to buy one gun, buy something like this, because this is, for me, I don't have the biggest of hands. Glock 19 size frame with a magwell on there. Man, I get a nice tight grip on that thing, and then I am good to hook here, right? Boom, boom. Life is good. So these are easy to wield. They're easy to get around corners. They're easy to do CQB with because they're a pistol. That's what I like about it. And they're easy to store. If you're going to have this in a safe, this is, again, my opinion. This should not be, if this is a home defense situation, if you are going to have it in like a bedside safe, what's stopping you from punching in the code before bed, opening it up? And so if you need to get up, you can go poop. Now, everybody's different. Everybody has their concerns and their reasons and their things why. Do what you need to do. I personally have these stored in a location that I'm not going to say, but I have it very easily able to grab. So I can grab this. I can go out and and it's actually not this pistol. Mine's upstairs in my location it's supposed to be in for my home defense one. This is my carry one. And, but I have it set up so where I have a dot on it, have a light on it, and I can stand at the top of my stairs and do my thing, right? So cons of a pistol. They are the most inaccurate of the options we have available to us, right? It is because you only have 2 points of contact on it, and you're on these hinges right here, and you move. Okay, so most inaccurate version of it, of a home defense weapon. They actually can overpenetrate quite a bit. A lot of that due to inaccuracy. It's very easy to miss with a pistol. So hence training, things like that. Big pros, very easy to find lights for, very easy to set dots up with, right? It's not hard to get this set up right here and then, especially so if you're thinking more budget, right? I only want to do one gun because by the time you've bought something like this, and then that one, and then that one, and then all the other ones I have, right? You can get into some money here. Or you can buy this, which don't get me wrong, this isn't, I would not say this is a budget setup, but you could get something like this, cheaper options, cheaper versions of this, carry that with a dot, with a light, and then you have a home defense setup and a carry setup all in one convenient package. So there's a lot of pros to just this. Easy to store, easy to maintain, easy to get ammo for, easy to get good ammo and range ammo for. And most in-home distances, right? If you train, you're gonna be able to hit your targets if you train. Caveat: if you train. We say it one more time: if you train, 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 train. Dry fire, get reps in, right? We can get into a whole lot of weeds with this on what you should wear, what you shouldn't wear. I'm actually very much so considering I already have like a fanny pack holster, and I'm very, very much so. My next home defense setup kit will be like I have a little thing of body armor, but and it's soft armor, but it's the argument I have against that is am I going to have time in a home defense situation to grab that because seconds matter, and I have it set in a position to where I can just grab it, maybe get out to where I need to go. Again, strong point, and then if I have time from there, throw it on over my head. I mean, it's really easy to do one-handed and at least have it, and I like that option. The next piece of kit would be the fanny pack, right? Because something that people don't think about in a home defense situation is everybody thinks about right up until bullets start flying. So if we're in this home defense situation and I'm in a two-way gunfight, very likely that myself and or bad guy are injured. And having medical would be great, right? Having medical on my person. I have medical kind of staged in certain places of my house, but not having to go and find it, knowing, hey, I have it all set up right here. Boom, click, draw, run. I love that idea because then we're not talking about a ton of time. That's stuff that I can grab and maneuver to where I need to go, right? And like if you have it set up to where you can grab your pistol, rack, because I'm not in my home defense gun, I don't typically keep one in the pipe. So grab, rack, body armor and fanny pack out to where I need to go, right? And then body armor on, fanny pack on, and then run, right? Run as I need to go. Again, because I'm a strong pointer. I'm not a go clear unless I have to. But understand, everything is a trade-off, right? The more stuff that I grab, the less stuff that I have, or the less time that I have to get in position. So, is it realistic to have all that? I love the idea of having it. I love the idea of having medical, and then maybe here's my thinking on all that, right? So having it potentially staged at the strong point of my house where I'm going to be, stage my body armor, stage my medical, my fanny pack thing there, right? Where that's where I'm going anyways. All I got to do is grab my gun, check on the kids on the way to it, boom, body armor, fanny pack, I'm ready to roll. The reason why, again, if we need to use our hands, I can put that in there, grab out my IFAK, get to work on what I need to get to work on, right? So it's by no means a bad thing to have that kind of stuff set up. That goes into the mindset of staging my home defense for me and giving myself the best advantage possible, right? It's my house. I can do these things. I can rep these things. I can stage my stuff in a way that's going to give me the best success in or the best possibility for success in this setup, or in this scenario, because I don't want to be shorthanded, right? I want to run, like I said, I run pistols because I prefer to do that as far as my family, my home, my setup. It's easiest to be able to use this. So I have a very good option that I can run, that I can use, that's going to do the job. And then if I do something like have a fanny pack, it's not hard that this stores in there. Like, you can get fanny pack holsters, you can get pretty good with it. I'm not saying that's my option for carrying every day, but that's not what this is for, right? So multiple pockets, zip. I got a holster one, I got an IFAK one. I'm good to go. So those are things to consider, right? So what gun should you use? Well, one you're comfortable with. Obviously, it comes down to training. These are just some pros and cons of shotgun, rifle, pistol. And like I said, things to look at are, should you have, or like, what is your equipment? What capabilities do you want in this potential firefight? And then what's going to happen after rounds fly? Because that's something I think we in the community just tend to not think past, is what happens when the bullets stop flying. It's very likely, if you're in a two-way gunfight, again, that one or the other has holes in them. And so then probably should be rendering aid. I mean, maybe not. That's up to you. And like, I don't know what your situation is, what's happened. Should you render aid? Should you not? We can get in the weeds on all of this. But at a minimum, having something to save your life is a good idea. So, food for thought. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you guys run. Like I said, it's all a matter of what you're comfortable with, what you can train on, and at the end of the day, what you have, right? If all you have is bare bones, that's your setup, baby. I prefer to get, a little more into it and do and have a little nicer option with light and dot. But, it truly does become an open division competition. Asad Mayoub said it, not every, and I don't know who else said it, he's the one I heard it from on YouTube. He said, not every shooting competition is a gunfight, but every gunfight is a shooting competition. And it's an open division. You run what you brought with you. So give yourself the best setup that you can. Think about what gear you need to do and what you need to run for you. And think about how you can set yourself up for success. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.